So I've been meaning to make this video for a few months now. I've had a lot of people ask a lot of good questions about our Generac 24 kW standby generator. And we've had it for 2 years now. And we had a hurricane recently that we were able to put it to the test and came up with some interesting stats. And I want to share those with you. So we were without power here for 2 days and it performed flawlessly. So, but I did want to share some of these stats. I got them wrote down here so I could remember them all. So with the 2 days, I calculated up the hours exactly when we had it running. So we turned it off for a few hours one of the days because we left to go look at some of the storm damage and everything. So I took those hours into account, how much fuel we used based on our 250 gallon tank, and came up with usage of 1.8 gallons per hour. I was kind of impressed with that. I believe the manual states something like between 2 and 2.5 gallons per hour is what it normally uses. For those of you that don't know, 24 kW, that's 24,000 watts. If you take watts of anything and divide it by the volts that it's producing or using, that will give you the amps. So 24,000 divided by 240 gives you 100 amps. So this bad boy produces 100 amps. That goes for anything. If you find any small generator, if it's a 5500 watt or whatever, you just take the watts divided by the volts. So if it's a 55 watt and 120 volts, you would divide the 5500 divided by 120, and that will give you how many amps you can run on that generator. I don't know that off the top of my head. I'm not even going to throw a number out there. So, but that's how you do that. So 1.8 gallons per hour was really good, and we were very happy with that. That is expensive, of course, in the big scheme of things. You know, if your gas is $3 a gallon, you're at $5.50 per hour to run the generator. But it was priceless to us, especially with the little kids. Now we ran our house just like we normally run. We had the central heat and air running, which is, we have a 5-ton AC unit. And my wife is from Vermont originally, and she likes our house cold. So daytime, our temperatures, we do turn it up to about 73 or 74. Nighttime, we run about 66 or 67 degrees. So it's probably crazy to a lot of people, but we've adjusted and we love it. But the generator handled it fine, no problem at all. We have 12 children, of course. Not all of them are old enough to use the bathroom, but the ones that are, like, everybody used the bathrooms. Water pump was fine. Showers, you know, we have a 50-gallon electric hot water heater, ran it just fine, and all this stuff at the same time. We didn't have to like stop using certain things to use other. We ran our dishwasher, we ran our regular washer machine. We don't use a dryer. We haven't used a dryer in a long time now, probably a year since we put our clothesline up. We dry all of our clothes out there, so we didn't use the dryer. So yeah, we were not affected one bit by our power being out, other than the hum of the generator and my stress levels wondering how much fuel this thing going to use. Because I knew it's expensive to fill that tank back up. So I would say moving forward, we will probably run it at night only, especially if we're going to be out for a long period of time. But yeah, I mean, it's just expensive to use if you're using it 24/7. So based on the 1.8 gallons per hour, on a 250 gallon tank, usually they fill about 200 gallons. At least for our tank, they fill it up with about 200 gallons. So 200 gallons, 1.8 gallons per hour, that will give us 111 hours of runtime on a generator. So if you divide that by 24, if you had it running 24/7, that would be 4.6 days that this would run. So 4.5 days on a tank of fuel if you're running it around the clock. So of course, if you're running it only half that, you're going to get 9 days out of it. So not bad at all for running everything in the house, I would say. Now, is it cheaper to run a little small portable with gas cans? Probably. Yeah, you'll save money doing that, but you're not going to run your central air conditioning unit and keep it nice and cool with a water tank, well water running, and a hot water heater and all that stuff running at the same time. So you got to keep that in mind. So Other than that, yeah, that's the amount of circuits that we have running. Of course, we have the pool pump. I think that probably was running at the same time as well. All of our freezers and fridges. So, yeah, I'd say that's really good. Now, as far as running it, I did every 8 hours or so, I did check the oil. It does burn a little bit of oil, or use a little oil, whatever. The oil would be down on the stick a little bit. So I would turn it off, let it cool for a few minutes, check the oil, top it off with oil as needed. Didn't have any issues whatsoever. The good part about these, if the oil's low, it will pop up a light and it won't start if it's got low oil, or it'll cut off. So that is a handy deal. So other than that, man, we're very happy with it. Like I say, that I get asked that question a lot of how much fuel it uses, and I never ran it for a long enough period of time to get a good average. But over the 2 days, like I say, we were able to average out to 1.8 gallons per hour. So hope that's helpful to somebody. Thank you so much for watching.